Just like to welcome everybody to the 2014 Women's College World Series. This is the second of today's two press conferences with the head coaches. Just introductions to my right, from Florida, head coach Tim Walton, from Baylor, head coach Glenn Moore, from Oregon, head coach Mike White, and from Florida State, head coach Lonnie Alameda. A few things before we begin. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question and wait for the mic to get to you. And please state your name and your affiliation before you ask your questions. We will start with opening statements with Coach Walton.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. Thanks to the Oklahoma City All Sports Association, University of Oklahoma, and the NCAA for putting on a great event in the ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. I love the renovations, the dugouts, and all the upgrades and improvements for the student athletes. So just thanks for everybody for having us here again, and really look forward to a great competition and great weather.
I'll echo those same sentiments, and we're happy to be here, looking forward to competing for a national title with these guys, and just appreciate the effort everybody's going to make this a great event for our student athletes.
Exactly right. It's great to be back. Obviously, we had 1 year off there, but it's certainly exciting to be back in Oklahoma City. Tremendous venue. I love the upgrades. Dugouts look great. We're excited to see what happens in the future with even bigger upgrades. The support from Oklahoma City, ASA Softball, USA Softball, and all the administrators that help put this on. We know it's a lot of hard work. The NCAA as well. But it's going to be an exciting week. 8 teams. They're all great teams, and congratulations to all of them. It's not easy to get here. We know that firsthand, but thank you very much.
Yeah, and I guess I'm fourth in dittos, so outstanding. I'll say, though, I went to school at the University of Oklahoma, and I know I used to come here and do clinics for USA softball, and the venue is it's getting better every single year, and it's so awesome just what we've created here for softball and for these young kids. They grow up to want to play at the highest level, and this is it right here. And so it's pretty outstanding, the work everyone's put in, and we get excited about it. So we're excited for the opportunity to be back after 10 years of not being here.
Tommy Dees from the Tuscaloosa News and Gainesville Sun. Tim, can you talk about your season, the ups and downs? So good early against that tough schedule, struggled a little in conference, and then what clicked in the postseason?
I think every team goes through the normal trends of a season. There's some ups and downs, and the teams that prevail in the end are the teams that figure things out and bond and come together and play well. The Georgia loss was really good for us. We actually got a couple days off and got humbled with our offense, and so I think that really helped us. We realized we had to make some adjustments and do some things a little bit different offensively, and I think that was good. But I just commend our players and our strength coach and our staff for recognizing some deficiencies in our mentality and making the improvements and doing the things that we needed to do to get back here and compete for a championship.
Tim Graham Hayes, ESPN. I'm curious, who or what has shaped your philosophy of hitting, and what matters to you when you analyze hitters?
Well, I think a little bit of everybody shapes you. We watch the good hitters from all the teams we play, all of our opponents. The teams that do some things that you get kind of intrigued by. So I think the foundation that's laid is just kind of what you've seen, what you're accustomed to, what you're used to, and then all the players that have coached or played under me that I've coached, I've taken a little bit from them. And I think the thing that's the most important to me is just allowing hitters to be themselves and trying to figure out a way to improve that, improve what they do. I don't have a philosophy, and I think for reasons that I wasn't a great hitter, so I don't feel like I have all the answers to hitting. I feel like I try to instill a good work ethic. I try to instill a proper approach to hitting with my hitters. And at the end of the day, whether they're a power hitter, a line drive hitter, a contact hitter, we just try to make them feel confident and be better at what they do. I think that's probably my approach more than anything.
Murray Evans, Associated Press. It's most of a Coach White, but anyone can chime in if you want to. Time was in this tournament was there'd be 3, 4, 5 teams from the Pac-12 here. There's only one this year. And I guess number one, do you feel any extra added maybe responsibility coming from such a power conference. And let's talk a little bit about how softball really isn't just a West Coast game anymore. You have all these other teams from all these other leagues who are regulars here at this point.
Well, first off, I'm glad to be the one, so that's the first thing. But, truthfully, I thought that UCLA, Arizona State, Arizona, UCLA all had great teams this year. But that tells you about the parity of the game right now. And it's great for the game. Rising tide lifts all boats, so the better everyone gets, the better this game gets. And the more attention it draws, the more media. Again, it just revolves. So we love that fact. Is there any extra pressure on us? I don't think so. The game doesn't know how many Pac-12 teams are here. Expects us to play well. We're going to go out and play well and do our best we can. And if we're the last one here, great. If we're not, then there's going to be a worthy champion walking out here at the end. But I'm very excited for softball overall.
John Warner, Waco Tribune. This for Tim. What have you seen from Whitney Canyon, and what can it mean for a team to bring that kind of experience?
I think she made her first college start against the Florida Gators, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we beat her. Then she came back on Sunday and shut us out, and we had a pretty good offense back then. So we've got a lot of respect. I jokingly was going to tell you that, I think I was a year older than Whitney when she was in high school, but I'm not going to use that one. So she's really good, and she's always been really good. When I recruited her and watched her play in the Fort Worth area, I think it was the Bat Busters back then, but she was a competitor. I mean, she could hit, she could pitch, play position. I mean, she was really good, and now you've taken her to where she's seasoned, and she's that much better. And she's a good ambassador for not only Baylor University, but for all of college softball. Just the adversity going through her, her issues with her knees and some other stuff, and she's going to be tough. We've watched a lot of film on her already, and she's going to be tough to crack.
I don't have a microphone. I hope I don't need one.
We got you.
Yeah.
I haven't needed one since I was an altar boy. Lonnie, what's the biggest obstacle you face in playing a team like Oregon?
Well, I think Oregon presents us a very well-rounded team. They've got speed and power hitting and great pitching in the circle, and definitely a lot of good experience coming from the conference they're coming from. So, throughout the season, we just got to go out and play our style of softball. I mean, we got to play catch. They definitely put the pressure on defenses, throw the ball around a little bit, and take advantage of that. So you can't give them too much. But we're really excited to play a very storied program, and a program that's been very good in the past couple years.
Jacob Unruh with the Oklahoman. This goes for any coach that really wants to chime in. Kentucky's pitchers wearing a mask. There's been kind of an uptick across the nation at all levels to protect pitchers. What are your thoughts on protecting your pitcher and masks and the increase in the safety concerns?
I'll take that. I get a lot of questions of club ball coaches asking about masks, and I feel whatever is comfortable for the student athlete to compete, you gotta let them compete. So if they want to wear a mask, that's fine. And I tell them all the time, if they're at the level that the coaches want to recruit them, the mask isn't going to take them away from getting that opportunity. So it's definitely more prevalent, but it's not something that takes away from their athleticism by any means. So.
I would feel pretty bad if I told some kid not to wear a mask and he got hit in the face. If they feel comfortable with it, that's fine. I do the same thing with our hitters. They have the choice to wear a mask or not wear a mask. Same thing with our fielders. It should make no difference in how they field. But my first thing as a pitcher was throw it where they can't hit it. You don't need a mask.
In 2011, we had Claire Hozak against Georgia foul a ball off into her face, broke her occipital bone, 4 places. And up until that point in time, I was a little old-fashioned and didn't like masks. And the next year, every one of our kids had one on their helmets. It was a pretty ugly sight, so it's pretty much their choice for me.
Yeah, Glenn, Tommy Dees again. How do you coach somebody who's been around as long as Whitney? Do you have to take a different approach with her having so much experience, and do you appoint her the tour guide while you're here?
Yeah, she's a coach on the field. I said last week, she knows as much about pitching as anybody on our staff, and she's not only a great pitcher, but she's a student of the game. The 2 years that she was sitting in the dugout and rehabbing, she was studying other pitchers and watching the game, became a great student of the game. And, you know, even this year, her 6th year, when she's in the dugout in between going out to pitch, she watches other pitchers and gives us valuable feedback there. She just loves the position, and, you know, you just kind of let her go. You take her advice, you know, give her bits of information to help her succeed, but she knows what she's doing, so you don't coach her a whole lot.
Natalie Pierre, Tallahassee Democrat. Mike, could you just talk about the challenge of facing a pitcher like Lacey Waldrop and then a hitter like Maddie O'Brien?
Well, yeah, that's not an easy one to answer because you know, it's obviously they're both very great players. You know, Waldrop, we know from what we know of her, you know, keeps the ball down. So the secret there is to get the ball up. Look out for the off speed, and then look out for the changeup. It's a three-pronged sword, really. So we got to make sure we get balls in the strike zone just like any other pitcher. We've seen that type of pitching, you know, and we all have. All 8 teams here have seen great pitching all year. It's just a matter of coming out with a good game plan, sticking to it, making sure you get pitches you can swing at. There's no secret to that at all. You know, with O'Brien, you know, she's a good hitter. She's going to get her shots. We just got to make sure that we try to vary it up on her. You know, not get her to get situated where she knows what's coming. So to mix it up just a little bit, and you know, not put people on in front of her either. You know, so we have to go at her. So we'll wait and see how we go.
This is for Coach Moore. Looks like they've got 4 hitters with double-figure homers. Lauren Hager has 20. Can you just talk about trying to pitch to this lineup?
Yeah, you hit 3 of them. I hope you get lucky on the 4th. It's a great lineup, typical Tim Walton lineup, and work's cut out for us. We're hoping that our road to Oklahoma City prepared us for those types of hitters. We saw some good ones in Georgia, and you know, we tried to put together the strongest schedule we could to prepare Whitney and our pitchers for this type of offense. But you know, they're going to score runs, and we're going to have to back it up as well.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Glenn, you've talked about you have more power than you had, you know, 3 years ago when you were here. Does that ability to maybe win games in a couple of different fashions, maybe with pitching or with the long ball, I mean, does that aid you in a tournament like this?
I think it has this year. It's given us the ability to get 4 bases out of a swing instead of 1 in a steal. You know, it's no secret. I like the short game. I like speed. But that part of the game, there's a place for it, and it needs to be a better balance than what we've had previous, at least the last trip here. And fortunately, we won a couple of games by the long ball, but it took us about 13 innings to do it. So, yeah, we have improved in that area a little bit and have a little bit more confidence offensively and a little less stolen bases. So it's a direction we wanted to go in as a program. You know, probably would still like a little more of a balance than we have, but we're happy with what we've done this year.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Glenn, can you talk about, Whitney had said you can talk about it, but you can't really prepare them for the environment, the atmosphere. How do you prepare, like, your younger players that haven't been here for something, this big stage, I guess?
Well, you know, as far as us, we allow the ones that have been here to do a lot of that. And fortunately, this is my first time to have players that are currently on the team that did have that experience. And I think that's the way we've utilized their abilities and their experiences to share with the team. And, you know, I can go back to playing at Georgia. That was a tough environment. Nothing like they'll have here, of course, with the numbers. But, you know, it was a tough environment, tough place to play. And, you know, I just think you do your best to put them in those environments and try to get them focused. They're going to have to get through a few innings before they really settle into playing. And it just becomes another game after that.
Lonnie, could you just talk about Tiffany Brown? You know, I think she was the 3rd player from a Tallahassee high school to sign with Florida State. What she's really meant to this program over the last 5 years, and then what her speed has really done for you guys this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tiffany's been great. Obviously, having a hometown kid is nice to have in the program. But being injured last season and having the ability to come back and, having speed as one of your threats and then having the knee injury, she's had to work really hard. And so kudos to all that in the weight room and the training room that have gotten her back to this point. But, again, we haven't had people that have been here, but we have to rely on our leadership. And she's one of those kids. She plays very passionately, and our infield's pretty tight with that. So those are the kids that we're going to look to get through this. And we're very fortunate that she's a fifth year and has a year under her belt and a little more maturity for us.
This for Tim. Hannah Rogers, can you just talk about the leadership she's given y'all from the circle and just kind of what she's meant to the team?
Yeah, she's been consistent. She's been a pitcher for us that we know we're going to get a lot. She's brought it. She's got 100, and I think her and Whitney are either tied or one win separating the two of them. She's somebody I'm very really proud of. Just the nature and her work ethic, her personality. She's low maintenance. She comes to work every day. She doesn't complain. She's on track to graduate. She just does things. She's number one in all of our speed, agility, and sprints and 6 a.m. conditioning and all that kind of stuff. She's just pushed herself and really she's not only changed the way she pitches, but she's changed her mentality. She's changed everything about her. In her 4-year career to get her to this point, and she got us here this season. I mean, she's battled through some stuff and really pitched lights out this last weekend in a super regional against a really good offensive team.
Tibby said Hannah has changed her mentality. How so?
Well, she had belief systems that she was a curveball pitcher, or she was a curveball pitcher, or she was a rise ball pitcher, or she was this, and she's just really kind of humbled herself in some ways where she's had bad games and given up hits in situations where she thought her stuff was maybe a little bit better than it was, and she's really just changed her mentality and understanding how to trust her stuff and trust where she's pitching and not try to make perfect pitches. She just she sometimes pitches to contact, she sometimes pitches to miss. She uses her defense very well. I mean, her defensive mentality has evolved immensely. I mean, she's like what Stacey Nelson was before her. She's a shortstop in the circle. She wants the ball. She wants to go get the ball. She wants to try to get outs, and that really helps us in a lot of different ways.
Lonnie, how do you prepare a young pitcher like Burroughs? A lot of upside. Mm-hmm. How do you prepare her psychologically to step up on this stage, which is a bigger challenge than she's ever faced?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Jessica obviously was going to get a great opportunity this week, and when she gets some innings out there. But you just hope that everything you've taught them, she sits next to me and Lacey's out there, and all our pitchers have been really good about being leaders to each other. So Lacey works really well with Jessica in the bullpen and talking situations and analyzing video and scouting and putting things to the test. So, you can't replace experience. You can't replace what they're going to get right now. And kind of like Glenn said, too, it's going to take a couple innings for all these kids to get out there and kind of shake off some of the, wow, I'm in this amazing stadium that I wanted to be in since I was 6 years old playing club ball. But we just got to trust that our preparation and everything that we've talked and set out for is going to be able to settle them down and do the one-pitch mentality.
Cody Stavenhagen, the Oklahoman. One of the coaches earlier was talking about how in softball, players really tend to have a level of personality and expression you don't always see in other sports. Does anyone see that in their team? And if so, do you think it's good for the game?
Well, I truly believe that the sport of softball and the close proximity to the fans and the dugouts and just the nature of the game itself, that positive emotion is very contagious. And I love it. I mean, it's a lot of the things that a lot of the famous softball players have done here on this stage in the past will be future seen on other fields. And to me, positive emotion and positive things that are happening out there, I think it's great for the game, and it's great to relate. This is a kid's game, and let the kids be the kids and have fun and do things, especially when it's positive.
I like to see them have fun. Big part of my childhood was growing up playing this sport. My family, most of my brothers played. My dad was a big pitcher, and didn't want that taken away from me. I think sometimes I'm concerned about stepping over the line with dressing up in dugouts and and acting crazy sometimes, but the cheering and all that, letting them have fun, I think it'd be a shame to take that away from them.
We have no problem with our players expressing themselves, and even our pet snake has its own Twitter page, so it's all good for me. But as long as they know when to flip the switch, when to get out there and things are serious. But it's the way they stay relaxed. It's the way they feel good to play. And if it helps us win, I'm all for it. But they know when they're stepping over the line, like you said. So it's great to see them express themselves, and that's the main thing.
Lonnie, Matty O'Brien has a little bit of a Mickey Mantle obsession, I understand.
Yeah.
How does a 20-year-old girl from Florida become so infatuated with a guy who played back in the 60s? And since you're in his home state, any plans? Is she pushing for a team dinner at Mickey Mantle Steakhouse or anything?
They've already taken pictures and statues and stuff. But she comes from a baseball background. Her dad, her brother, they just love the game. She loves the game. She's the kind of kid that goes up to watch BP, with the Tampa Bay Rays, and then will stay till the ninth inning no matter what the score. She just truly enjoys the game. And so that comes from family and background and being around it. And, I think all of us, really enjoy the kids that really enjoy watching the baseball game too, because there's a lot we can learn from both. And she really is a student of the game. And, but I attest that to her family and her father.
Tim and Lonnie, you're both OU grads. Could you talk some about maybe how that program has helped you get to where you are today?
Well, for me personally, Lonnie has a couple classes ahead of me, but for me personally,
Is that a jab? I guess a jab.
for me personally, I mean the experience that I had at the University of Oklahoma. Both of us are California natives as well, and just coming out here and being in a big time program, a big time atmosphere, away from home, I think it's prepared me for a lot of things. The education, just the sports mentality, being in California and doing things. There's a lot of teams, there's a lot of different professional teams. So coming out here and being a part of something like that shaped a lot of my ideals. It gave me the drive and the will and the want to actually coach, at a school that has football, and football is the breadwinner and the horse behind it. It's a lot of fun having that kind of atmosphere. And to me, I think it all started when I stepped on campus at Norman.
I think on top of that, I would say the same things. I mean, it's an amazing school, but a lot of us get the opportunity to be part of some amazing traditions. But the connections, the people, I still keep in touch with a lot of Oklahoma administrators, secretaries. I mean, you get emails, and not just because we're here now, but in the past years. And, I think that there's a lot of baseball players that have gone on to play, and they're truly fans of the game, and that's been really neat to keep those connections and share. And a lot of them come out to camp and help out and share and grow the game and the knowledge. So that's definitely helped me into where I'm at right now.
Glenn and Tim, one of the coaches in the earlier session said that she thinks the days of one pitcher coming here and being able to win this thing are probably over. Just thoughts on whether you think that's we're to that point, or is that at least the direction that this sport is going?
I don't think the days are over. It is certainly tough for a 6-year kid to have enough left in with what she's given to the sport. I think we have a pretty solid staff. We've just not dipped into it, and I know certainly that Tim does, and he has. And from that regard, I think his staff is a little more prepared than we are. But, it's tough for one, but I'm certain that one could still do it. I just think it's like I think Mike said, the parity right now is very good across the country, and fortunately we're developing pitchers faster, and while we don't have that Cat Osterman or big time arm right now, they're coming. We'll have them. I think we'll see it again personally.
Yeah, I would never say never. I saw Megan Langenfeld come out here and pitch and hit and do some things that no one. I saw her do it here at Gold softball, and I saw her do it here on the national stage. So I think you can get somebody hot enough, you can do anything. I would never say never. I just know with the offenses, and now we've stretched the lineup that used to be 3 and 4 deep to 6 and 7 and 8, and and for some of our teams 9 players deep. So it's a lot tougher to get through a game 3 and 4 times through a lineup. But I don't think never. I just know it's a lot more difficult than maybe it used to be for sure.
Mike, how do those top 3 batters in your order kind of shape what you want to do lineup-wise and offensively?
Well, obviously, they're our table setters. We go as they go, and we feel pretty confident between the 3 of them. We get somebody on that first innings, which brings up our 4-hitter pretty much every first inning. More than likely, they've done it so far this year. Touch wood. But they're so varied in what they can do. It's hard to defense them because you can't just say, hey, just sit on the bunt or just sit on the slap, or you can't play them too shallow or they're going to hit it over your head. So it's really it's a good problem to have right now. I remember watching Arizona and watching them play and seeing all the speed they have, and I thought, if I ever get an opportunity, I'd love to build a team around some speed. And I'm just fortunate enough to have right now 3 very good ones right at the top of the order that are able to start us off, and hopefully they can continue to do that.
Yeah, from Mike, following up on the one pitcher thing, are you a one pitcher guy? If you have your way, would you want that one pitcher who you're just going to roll out there every time in every big game?
Well, I'm a guy who likes options, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think if I can get out there and get a good lefty and a good righty and an up-ball pitcher and a down-ball pitcher and let them go, and so whoever's hot is hot and go, give me those options. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't have the stage where we have like a starter, a middle relief, and a closer. We just haven't got to that yet, but there's room for that. I mean, if you're going to try and carry 3 to 4 pitchers on a staff, you have to do it that way. Otherwise, you're not going to keep them happy. Otherwise, you go out there and just have one pitcher every weekend, especially when you get into a conference. We play 3 games, so you're going to start them 3 games. The other kids get no work; they're not going to be happy. So you got to be able to develop some sort of strategy to make that happen. I totally agree. From what we see out in the future, there's some very good pitchers out there. They're going to coming down the pipeline, and we could very well see another Monica Abbott or Kat Osterman or someone like that. There's some good young talent out there.
I'll ask the meatball. Since all of you all were playing at home, were you satisfied with the turnout for the Super Regionals? And have any of you ever asked ESPN not to show the empty portions of your stadium?
I asked them not to show our porta potties. Yeah. But no, I asked them not to show our porta potties in our bullpen, because we need a new stadium. But we're working on that. We're going to get one. But our stadium was completely full. We couldn't get any more people in our stadium. We had 1,997 in a stadium that probably holds 1,500. And so it was tremendous. We sold out on Wednesday, couldn't get more people in. So we're very proud of the way we've promoted the program through our administration, our sports marketing, and Pac-12 networks. They've done a great job with that as well. So the game's in great stead, if you ask me. Right now in the West Coast, we just need better facilities to promote the game and get people to come out and watch our game in the numbers that could be there.
Well, I think Lonnie and I are both in the same situation. We go through a season where we don't charge admission. The games are free for all of our games through a season. So to ask our fans to spend the money for postseason, the regionals and the super regionals, we had phenomenal turnout. We had great turnout. We opened up our outfield. We had 100 people in the outfield or so. Our numbers were solid. I think we were probably along the same lines. We were anywhere from 19 to 2,100 a game. Very solid. We only seat 1,200 people in seats. We have a berm area on both sides, but I think all the teams that are playing, they're all looking to some way, shape, or form expand in the near future to for the demands of the fans and the game. I mean, it's definitely everywhere I go that there's always improvements in every one of the teams in our leagues, and I'm very pleased. I was very thankful for the number of people that came out, especially given both of our states of temperature that we had this last weekend was record highs.
We weren't at home. We were in Athens, and I believe they were sold out every day, and there's a lot of barking, and it's a great crowd, and they did a great job of. I don't think there were any places for ESPN to shoot that there weren't dog fans barking at us. So that's a good regional.
Tim talked about us. We had an outstanding group out there too, and and coming out of the ACC, now representing the ACC, and kind of being one of the teams to start really building that conference and get more exposure for that conference. It was outstanding to see what we had there, and ESPN was great with us. They had so many cameras at different angles, and just so easy to work with and great for the student athletes. So they were great for our game and our environment.
Anything else? Right, thank you.
Thank you.